Good morning. I hope y'all know if you're on the outside of the live, you might as well come in because now I can see who's sitting on the outside of the live. So just come on in, baby. It's all gravy. Happy Sunday. I just wanted to go live for a little bit before Dustin comes on. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Sunday. Waiting for Katria. Happy Sunday. It's the beginning of the week. So, yes, I don't want to miss anybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, Miranda. Good morning. Let me lower my tripod. Good morning, Colleen. Hey, y'all. How was y'all weekend so far? Let me lower this a little bit. Girl, you need to tell me how you see who's sitting on the... It's a new feature on TikTok. So it'll show you at the top. It'll show you at the top. Do I sit on outside of people's lives? I do, especially if I want to see what they're talking about. If it's not nothing, then I keep going. So yeah, they do show you now who sits on the outside of the live. So good morning, and that's kind of good because I think that's how a lot. Anyway. Good morning, happy Sunday. So I'm just going live a little early just to do a recap. I've been out of it. Dustin's going to be joining us. If you have any questions regarding your GLP-1 journey, that is the time to ask your questions. The only question I want to ask Dustin, really to go into detail, is losing weight versus burning fat, because there is a difference, and a lot of people don't know the difference. Don't know the difference. Thank you. I told y'all. Listen, if you are on this journey, don't make it all about your weight loss journey. So that's a whole nother live. But for me, I am testing. I told you I was getting this skin together. Okay. I was getting this skin all the way together, and I've been perfecting my makeup looks. So when I tell people I am not on the GLP-1 side of TikTok, they're like, for real, I'm on the makeup side because I want my outside to look as good as my inside. I've got like 12 different foundations. I have on Huda Beauty today. So it's a whole journey. I am learning to love myself. Well, let me rephrase that because I've been loving myself. I am learning to adjust to my new body, my new face, and everything. But I'm a licensed cosmetologist, so I've always been into hair and makeup. That's why when I was at 245, I didn't think I was fat because good morning. Y'all were just waiting for Dustin, so come on in. We're just waiting for Dustin. At 245, I didn't know I was fat because I had a cute face. Okay, I was 5', thick in the thighs. The lips are popping. This is Maybelline. Is it Maybelline lip stain? A Maybelline lip stain. I'll do a video. So like I said, I just decided to come on early before Dustin comes in. I'm excited. I've been trying to, he's been busy 2 weeks. He did a seminar last week. Please write all your questions down that you would like to ask. He is like a fitness guru, supplement guru. If you are not following Dustin, go follow him. It's Dustin Halston. He does lives. Thank you. He does lives talking about GLP-1s. Thank you so much. Hey, sis. Good morning. So I just want us to start talking and discussing things just besides the numbers on the scale, because we are more than the numbers on the scale. Really quick, while we're here, if someone could send this to Dustin. I got my music playing on the background. I did get approved for my Somorlin. So my Somorlin will be here this week. I'm excited. So I will do a separate live discussing my Somorlin and my Somorlin journey. So yes, this body recomp. Good morning from Hey, Callie. Oh, you up early. You are up early. And I'm waiting for Katria. So good morning. Yeah, I'm waiting for Katria. Hopefully she's able to join. Thank you, Janelle. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to use my blanket because I'm kind of cold with Samorlin. So Samorlin is a peptide that helps with sleep. It helps with body recomp and burning fat. So for me, I'm trying to get, good morning, Anna, my abdomen area together without surgery. And it's the sleep part for me because sometimes I do experience insomnia, but that has nothing to do with MJ. That is PTSD related due to me being in Iraq. So I just wanted to try it. Samorlin, I heard, is very good for you. So I will be adding that along with my Lipo B and C journey. I'm still going to take my Lipo B and C, but I'm just adding that because I want, and I'm working out. Don't think it, I'm working out. I just have that muscle tear, and I'm trying to get my stomach to look as flat as possible for me. Am I comfortable? Yes, for me, without having to go through surgery. That is something my husband and I discussed. He does not feel comfortable with me going surgery for that. So, yes. And he just has, hey, Janelle, he just have his concerns about that. So I will be doing more videos on Samorlin, and when I get it here, we're going to do an unboxing together. So happy Sunday, y'all. If y'all see Dustin in here, let me know, because y'all are flying through like, I am so excited. So tell me, guys, how have y'all been doing? How have y'all Sunday been doing? How y'all weekend been? Thank you, babe. Y'all can see we had a family night yesterday. Thank you. I was kind of mad at first because, baby, she low-key took some inches. Baby, when I tell you she low-key took some inches off of this, then I was like, I like the flow. It's not stiff. So I ain't mad. It's been Southern hair. Okay. We went to Charlotte yesterday. Baby, I was low-key mad. Thank you. She chopped the 26 inches, baby, down to 22. I was like, ma'am. But I'm not mad at it. I got some movement. So I ain't even mad. Baby, I was hot. I was hot yesterday. My husband's like, I don't see nothing wrong with it. Hello, y'all. Hello. Welcome in. I'm just waiting on, my birthday was yesterday. My doctor appointment's tomorrow. Why did I do that? Well, Kat, happy birthday. Belated birthday. And you got this. I need to do a separate live because a lot of people are inboxing me now about their PAs getting denied. So I definitely will do a separate live discussing prior authorizations and insurance and what they're looking for. I will definitely do an update on that. I've been doing lives, preparing you guys for that. And I hate to say it, those that are asking the question, you're welcome, Donna. Girl, let me know how you like it. I am so happy for you. I'll do another giveaway soon. So those that my PA got denied, and that's the thing. So we're going to get into it. I'm going to tell you what is happening, what is transpiring. So yes. Thank you. Hey, Let. I love mine. I did my Lipo C injection this morning. I did my Lipo B yesterday. So yes. Like I said, guys, I'm just waiting for Dustin. Hey, lovely. I don't even know how to send him a invite. I see Katria, so hopefully Katria. Hold on, guys, let me text her. I don't know how to do that. Good morning. I don't know how to answer, and I don't want to get out. So yes. I'm waiting for Katria. I think we're supposed to go live on her page. I'm not sure. Good morning, y'all. I got to give up my coffee on some Moreland too, y'all. Ooh, pray for me, because, hey, Broderick, listen, thank you. I don't know. She said, I got to give up caffeine, y'all, and that's going to be my hard defeat, because if I don't have my caffeine in the morning before I go to work to deal with them patients, honey, I be the cookie monster. So we gon' maybe I can give up the caffeinated and go to decaffeinated. So we gonna see. Yes, rest in peace. Yes. This playlist is called Southern Classic off of YouTube. Hey Cam, good morning. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Cam, can you text? Hey Katria, girl, I was waiting on you. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
It's an echo.
Okay, let me pop off.
Hey y'all, and I had to get a new phone. Good morning, y'all. I am waiting for Dustin. This is a conversation that I've been waiting to have. Did you say my name, Kim? Yes, Kim. I say, hey girl. Did you get the 16? What's the 16, lovely? Good morning. What's 16? Girl, I'm slow. You're gonna have to text me. Good morning. I'm just waiting for Katria and Dustin. No, girl, no ma'am. I got the 15 Pro Max. Can you take the Super Calm while on Ozempic? I don't know what Super Calm is, but I know I took me some. Okay, so Dustin is here. I know I took me some calming gummies. Go. Look at me, y'all. Good morning, Dustin. I was waiting on this all week.
Oh no, I've been excited. It's gonna be about the highlight of my Sunday. So
Okay. Can you see everybody's comments?
I can. Yep.
Okay. And then I'm waiting on one more person from the podcast, but I would like to jump straight into it, because the first question I want to ask, that I get asked a lot, can you please tell the difference between losing weight and burning fat?
Yeah, I think that's a phenomenal question, because I think we think it's the same thing, or we just like, I don't care. I just want to see the scale go down, right? And good morning, everybody. Appreciate all the welcome. So we talk about weight loss. Well, if we talk about fat loss is literally fat coming off the body, right? When we talk about weight loss, we're thinking of the combination between muscle fat, water weight, bone loss. I mean, there could be a ton of contributing factors that weigh in that provides what weight loss is. Now, the issue is most of us want a lean toned physique. We want to be healthy. We want to have strong bones. We want to, be able to live an independent life later in our years, and all of which are really telling us that we need to keep as much muscle as we can during our weight loss journey. Because if we start losing muscle rapidly, this is the excess skin. This is what we call the O butt, trying to not say the OZ word, but, the excess skin issues we hear. But we also know that if we're losing muscle rapidly, we're also crashing our metabolism. So A, we're not going to get the results we want. B, we're going to hurt our metabolism. C, we may have some chronic health conditions. We may have, some atrophy and frailty. Your body may not be able to recover from injuries as fast. And so when you really look at it, the goal of ours should not be, hey, I want to lose weight. It should be, hey, I want to lose fat. Fat is what's really causing the unhealthiness that we're experiencing. It's not the amount of muscle you have, it's the amount of fat you have.
Awesome. And Dustin Dustin,
Hey, hey, hey.
he is part of our podcast. Katria, I just went in and asked Dustin because a lot of people get losing weight versus burning fat mixed up. So that's the question I asked. Any questions you want to ask, y'all in the chat, please share this live because this is the live that everybody needs to be on. These are frequently asked questions you ask other creators who are not certified in this department, and Dustin is. So please ask your questions. Okay, go ahead, Katria.
I know a lot of people. Get caught up in the scale. That's a huge topic that we all talk about on every single live. Everyone gets caught up in the pounds versus inches. What if you had to break that down for people coming into this community and trying to lose weight? And what should we focus on from a professional's perspective?
That is a phenomenal question, and we actually have a clinical study on this. So several years ago, they looked at the effects of body composition in inches, okay? And what they actually found is each inch off the waist was equivalent to 8.5 pounds of fat. That's the actual conversion. And this regression analysis had all these people in it, and they were looking at their inches versus body fat percentage loss and all that good stuff. So we know that really inches tell more of a story than does the scale, right? I can show you a picture of me, quote unquote, shredded, and I can show you a picture of me with my dad bod a couple years ago, and I weighed exactly the same amount. However, you would, by looking at that, would have thought that when I had the higher body fat percentage, that I must, weigh, 50 pounds more or whatever it is. It's that deceiving. But if we focus just on the scale, we wouldn't see that, right? And one of the things I want my clients to do is measure pretty frequently to keep track of measurements, because we do know if the scale's not moving, but the inches are, that means you're toning, right? So when we say toning, we're referring to showing off muscle under fat. And so if we're not losing weight, but the inches are going down, that really tells us that we're actually gaining some muscle, and that's what's counteracting the scale. One of the biggest things, and I'm sure we'll talk about stalls and plateaus later, but you're not stalling and you're not plateauing if you're losing inches. To me, losing inches is more important than the weight. You can be, you can look like $1 million at, I give the example of Courtney, my top coach. When she started with me as a client many, many, many years ago, she started at 300. When she got down to like 225, people were guessing that she was at like 160.
Wow.
But it was deceptive. She was holding her weight so well, and she did have more muscle than the average female. So she was an incredibly healthy 225 pounds. But if I say somebody's 225 and healthy, a doctor would say, you're full of crap. That's not healthy. You're 220. You know what I mean? There's this mindset difference. But yeah, so, the big thing is we want to focus on fat loss, and we just want ourselves to be in a position where we're not psychologically attacking ourselves when it comes to the scale, because the scale itself, especially for women, it's been something that's been implemented in your brain since you were a little girl, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I'll give you an example. I remember my grandpa used to tell my mom that, women shouldn't weigh more than 120 pounds. And this was even while she was an adult. You know what I mean? And like, I remember that. And I'm like, holy cow, that's rude as hell. Like what is going on? But, women and men some, but, women just have this, they've been beaten up all their lives, and the scale becomes trauma, and they feel like they're either succeeding or failing based off of their weekly or daily, depending on if they're weighing in daily or not. Scale reading. And I will be honest right before we change subjects, I do only tell my clients to weigh in once a week. I suggest Fridays, wake up, pee, get on the scale. That's going to be the most accurate weight. I like Fridays because if you're going to cheat on your diet, you're probably going to do it on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
Right.
So it's going to be the most accurate reading. Weighing in daily is going to crush your mental health. You're going to think that you're failing because, maybe your body's holding an extra little bit of water weight. Or if you work out hard, we actually know that the swelling. So whenever you work, soreness is water weight. If you take anything from this, soreness is water weight. So when we're sore, it typically is a sign that our body's holding more water. It helps with the healing process, but it also means we're gaining weight. It's not fat. It's not muscle. It's just the fact that if you're sore, you're going to automatically weigh a little bit more than you're not. And so I tell people, if you haven't pooped for a few days, then it's not fat that you're gaining. If I eat a 5-pound steak and it hasn't came out of me yet, I'm going to be 5 pounds heavier. That's how it works. If I get on the scale and then drink 16 ounces of water and then jump back on the scale, I'm going to be a pound heavier. It's not fat. Right. And so that's where one of the mindsets I get is every Friday upon waking, after peeing, and then hide the scale from you the rest of the week.
I like that.
Yeah. That is extremely positive because we get into these conversations with people who have this crazy misconception that if the scale isn't moving, that they are literally failing themselves. And so I am not any kind of medical professional, however, or fitness guru or anything like that, but understanding the way your mind works and just mental health and making sure that you're keeping yourself healthy in your mental space. I personally did not weigh in the first 6 months of my journey. I only weighed in once a month with a doctor because I started off at 450 and now I'm 362. And literally, I had to just work on my headspace, and me getting on a scale or owning one in my home just wasn't a good choice. So I like to tell people, just understand where you are in your journey, know exactly what you need to work on so that you can build that relationship that you need. So it's good for people to hear this from someone other than us. So that's really good.
Carolyn has a good question. She said, so it's not good to weigh in every day. Here's my question for you, Carolyn, or anybody else. If you weigh in today and your weight's 225, and you weigh in tomorrow and it's 226.2, are you mad and upset? If the answer is yes, then don't weigh in every day because it's just going to be a mind FUCK, right? You're just going to struggle with that daily that, hey, look up, I wasn't successful. Woe is me, I screwed up, and then you're going to sabotage yourself. Now, some people, and I know a lot of coaches that do, they tell you to weigh in every single day. And I don't like that because I think it breeds obsession. Like as a coach, it's going to average out over 7 days. So I'm not worried about seeing it on a day-to-day basis. I'd rather just see it once a week. So that's just my opinion. But Lovely said that it doesn't get her mad, and that's perfectly fine. If it doesn't get you mad and it's not like a mental hurdle, and drives obsession, then that's perfectly fine. But what I find is most people who are struggling with their weight, that scale becomes a ball and chain that they can't escape. And so I do suggest just once a week weigh-ins.
Someone asked, because she asked 3 times, can she take ashwagandha? I know I did. Oh, on a GLP-1.
Yeah, so I like ashwagandha. So this is a extract herb that's been used in traditional medicine for thousands of years. It's great for lowering cortisol. It's great for hormonal optimization. It's good for water weight. It's good for weight loss. It's good for pre- and postmenopausal symptoms. I've taken it before. Like if I'm getting ready to do a bodybuilding show and you've been dieting aggressively for a long time, your body's under a lot of stress, and ashwagandha can help that a lot. However, 2 things. One, make sure you're getting KSM 66. So that's the official quote unquote brand name of ashwagandha. And it's cheap. You can just go on Amazon and buy it. But make sure it's KSM 66 is the type of ashwagandha, because the other one just doesn't get the same results. Secondly, you need to make sure you're taking a clinical dose. And so, Diana, you're an adult. Don't do gummies. I'll talk about that next. We'll talk about that next. I say it jokingly. Don't take it serious. But
Y'all, really quick, Dustin is my twin, y'all. So y'all know how I am. Dustin is the same way. Come in, ha ha ha. He okay. There you go.
I have a dry sense of humor. I don't mean it. Yeah. So a dry, dark sense of humor. So, but you want to make sure, if I remember off the top of my head, somewhere around 1,000 milligrams a day. Ashwagandha would be like a $15 a month supplement. I know so many people will buy some of the TikTok ad drinks and stuff, and I'm not, it's neither here nor there, but ashwagandha is a relatively cheap supplement. And so I would look at just making sure you're getting KSM 66. That's the one you want.
Second question. So Dustin, sorry, we're gonna get it in today. Second hot topic: food noise versus hunger.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I ask that, because a lot of people, when they start to feel hungry, they think it's food noise. Mm-hmm. So, and it's becoming, and Dustin and I'd like to be not controversial, but a lot of people feel like they should not be eating on this medication. Mm-hmm. Me, I like to eat. Don't look at me, but I like to eat. But I know when I'm not overeating, but I know when I'm hungry. Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest thing. Can you please talk about the difference in those?
Yeah, so hunger is a natural response that our ancestors, and I'm not getting into evolution, or that's not what I'm saying, but like hunger is a cue that you need to eat, because your body knows that if you don't eat, eventually you'll waste away, and that's not good, right? And so we have hormones like ghrelin and leptin and a few other ones that remind us when it's been a little bit too long between meals that, hey, you should probably eat, and that's how we get that hunger pain, right? So hunger is supposed to be a signal of deficiency in calories. Now, that's not always true, okay? One, hunger can be a sign of depression, right? So for some people, we have an addiction to food when we're depressed, and we'll get hungry even though it has nothing to do with the body actually needing nourishment at that time. Also with hunger, it can be an addictive behavior. And so we got two lines of thought. You have hunger for survival, and you got hunger as a center in your brain that obsessed with the addiction to food. So that's what food noise is. It's actually that addiction to food, right? And that same sensors in your brain, that's where your sugar addictions, your opioid addiction, your alcoholism, your gambling, all of which are linked to those sensors in the brain that deals with binging. One really cool thing is we're seeing a reduction of gambling, alcoholism, opioid addiction, and obviously food noise with the advent of glp1 medicines. So we have to remember that hunger is a good thing if it's used correctly. And maybe we'll talk about cortisol later. Cortisol is actually a good thing when used correctly. That's always something that people get confused about. And insulin's a good thing when it's used correctly, but we demonize some things. So we got to be able to separate the difference between hunger for survival purposes and hunger based off of the mental side of things, either the food addiction or the stresses of life that is causing you to eat. The biggest thing is, if you're eating 3 meals a day, you're not skipping meals, and you're hungry, that's probably more of a sign that you might have a more addiction to food issue. Now, if you have that little snacky sensation, like, hey, I'm eating 3 meals and I'm a little bit snacky, things like that, that can still be some hunger cues that you haven't ate enough for the day. However, if you're eating, definitely on GLP-1 medicines, if you're eating quite a bit of food and you still feel like you're ravenous, things like that, it might mean you're just not being as receptive to the GLP-1 as we'd like, or it could be a sign that you need to go up in dose. So I kind of went everywhere with that one. Is there a specific part of that you want me to switch the narrative?
Hey, you the guru. We're just here. Go ahead.
No.
Y'all follow Dustin. Follow Dustin.
Hey, I appreciate that.
He has an awesome program. I need to enroll in that program. Follow Dustin.
I'm a nerd, so sometimes I go into the weeds a little bit too much. So bring me back if I start talking about.
With that explanation, because what a lot of people in the community are concerned about is essentially people get confused with is the separation in it. Am I hungry, or is this just, like you said, depression, like identifying the voice, essentially, what exactly am I answering the call to? Am I answering the call to me essentially being hungry? Or am I on this GLP-1 medication and am I eating too much? Some people think they shouldn't be hungry at all on the medication, which is false. In my opinion, you're human. You should still have those natural hunger urges or senses, right?
Yeah, that's actually one of my biggest beefs. And guys, this isn't medical advice, and definitely don't go against what your doctor's telling you. But more is not better. Better is better. And one of the biggest struggles I have is a lot of doctors are following the manufacturer's protocol of doubling the dose every 30 days or whatever it might be when you get started out. My wife was on Wegovy last year, and she started off at 0.25, the maintenance dose. And she literally loses 40 pounds in 5 months and never increased the dose. And the doctor was like, you're supposed to go up. You're supposed to go up. She was on compounded. And she was like, why? I'm losing weight. I'm not overly hungry. My PCOS symptoms are down. So why would I increase dose? Why more is not better, and I also work with guys that abuse performance enhancing drugs. And they're the same way. I'm like, why are you taking so much? Like, I don't want you taking anything, obviously. But if they're going to do it, they're going to do it. But it's just like, more is not better, right? Less is better. Better is better, right? Provide your body with exactly what you need versus, increasing doses and may not get very good results. What we see is once you start skipping meals, you're going to see rapid muscle loss. You're going to really lose your structure. You're going to have the excess skin. Your metabolism's going to crash. You're going to have future plateaus and stall a lot on your GLP-1 journey because, and I have laryngitis. So if I start losing my voice, I'm sorry. I should have said that at the very beginning. I'm a little bit blues raspy right now. So I'd sing some jazz and blues right now. That'd sound pretty good. But yeah, once you start skipping meals, that's when I think you start destroying your natural metabolism and start giving yourself some potential issues in the past, because we are seeing osteoarthritis, we are seeing bone loss, we're seeing osteoporosis.
Mm-hmm.
We're starting to see things, and that's because of lack of protein, lack of nutrients, and lack of calories. Just because you lose weight, starving yourself doesn't mean that that's a good thing. And that's where we get in our mindset, hey, the scale went down and I only ate one meal a day. Well, I can tell you that Bloom, who's one of my clients that's lost 120 pounds in 9 months, she's eating a lot of food. We've created a balanced attack for her, so that way she's actually fueling her body the right way. Had a client lose 100 pounds in 6 months last year on MJ. Reverse type 2 diabetes within 6 months. We worked with their doctor. She actually came off of MJ. I am not someone that pushes clients off, so please don't take it that way. I think it's for obesity management. I'm not one of those people. However, she felt comfortable coming off and ended up losing an additional 30 pounds. There wasn't a single day the entire year she ate less than 1,400 calories. So You know, and I was 130. I was 100 pounds in 6 months with therapy, and then came off of MJ and lost an additional 30 pounds. You know, we got to remember that calories is only one part of the equation when it comes to weight loss. And if we say, hey, I got to eat less and less calories to lose more and more weight, that's not necessarily the truth. So,
Can you go? You already hitting the questions. Can you go more into detail about that? Because I see, and I'm glad you touched bases on going up in dosages, because a lot of people feel you need to titrate up to lose more, which is not true. Or and the calories. You have so many people, and I keep saying this, I'm fanned out, but you know we're friends. You're on here to talk about that because some people will tell. So my body is different from Katria's, and I'm not picking on you, sis. So my body may require a different calorie deficit than Katria. So you have people coming on here saying you only need to eat this when each body's different. Can you please explain that?
yeah, and so I feel like a jerk, but all the time people ask me, how many calories should I eat? And I say, I have no idea. And they get mad, and it's just, you know, and I kind of laugh it off, but it's like, I don't know your age, your height, your weight, your diet history, your chronic health conditions, what meds you're on. I don't know about if you've had a sedentary lifestyle, your genetics. Like, I don't know any of those things. So how can I give you a number? You know, so any coach that can spit out a number just because they don't know what they're talking about, right? They're pointing you in the wrong direction. So that is a great question, Diana. And
that's a great question.
I'll probably use that in this spiel. But actually, I'll go ahead and start with that, and then I can build off of that. So TDEE calculators expect you to be with absolutely no chronic health conditions. It also assumes that you've never done dangerous diets in the past. What I mean by dangerous diets in the past, I'm going to give you two studies. One is the Biggest Loser study from a few years ago. So in the Biggest Loser study, they looked at participants from the show The Biggest Loser years after they were on the show. And what they found is that those who were on the show, because let's be honest, NBC should have been sued for that. It's very, very dangerous how they do. I actually work with somebody from the show. Very, very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. But what's cool is they actually tested their quote-unquote metabolism when they first started the show, and each person averaged roughly 2,500 calories. They then, at the end of the show, tested their metabolism again, and it was only 1,900 calories. So they lost about 600 calories off their metabolism. Then, 5 years later, I think is what the clinical study was, don't quote me on that, they tested it again. They found out that most people gained all their weight back over the course of that time because it just wasn't sustainable diet solutions. But guess what? Their metabolism never gained back. Their metabolism, even though they gained all their weight back, stayed 600 calories damaged. We also know from a 2009 study with ladies with PCOS that ladies with insulin resistance-based PCOS burn 700 less calories than ladies without PCOS with no chronic health conditions. So if you use a TDEE calculator and you've done dangerous diets in the past, you're going to be 600 calories off from that. So you're going to gain a pound a week using that calculator. If you have PCOS, you're going to gain a little bit more than a pound a week from using that calculator. So TDEE calculators really are only accurate for those who are perfectly healthy. You know, if you have menopause, insulin resistance, autoimmune disorders, PCOS, diabetes, other chronic health conditions, you don't have much muscle because TDEE, you know, if you live a sedentary lifestyle and you're at your desk all the time, your metabolism is going to be slower than somebody who's not. And so that's why we got to worry about TDEE calculators, because it really doesn't, it's a good starting point, but it's not going to be very accurate. Now, here's how to use a TDEE calculator. You let it work and spit out numbers, and you hit those numbers exactly for 2 to 3 weeks. Exactly. And I know, you're like, exactly, that's hard. It is hard. And then at the end of 2 or 3 weeks, you see if you lost weight or not. If you didn't, and you were super accurate, that means you need to cut your calories a few hundred and then do the exact same thing for 2 to 3 weeks. And then 2 to 3 weeks later, you look at it and you're like, oh, still not losing weight. Then you have to do it again. Now, that's a benefit of working with a coach. And yes, this is a conflict of interest because it's what I do for a living. However, when you work with a coach that understands chronic health conditions, PCOS, insulin resistance, menopause, whatever it might be, we're going to calculate that differently. And so with our formulas, we're going to take in account. Also, GLP-1 users crash their metabolism. We didn't even talk about that. So GLP-1 slows your metabolism. So if you're on GLP-1, a TDEE calculator is already going to be inaccurate. So it's not bad to get started, but you have to be incredibly strict if you use a TDEE calculator so you know what adjustments need to be made. Now, calories. Now, see, going back around. So calories dictate where the scale goes. Now, guys, it's not just calories, okay? I'm not this guy that's like, calories are the only thing you need to look at when you talk about weight loss. I'm not that guy. There's a variety of factors. However, we do know if you overeat calories, you gain weight, right? Because the body can't waste calories. It either stores them or uses them. And if you don't have use for them, they get stored, you know. And unfortunately, for many of us, it goes to our midsection. However, we know some really cool studies over the last 20-some years that really point us in the right direction of how to use calories correctly. My favorite study known to man, and if you're a client of mine, you're probably tired of me talking about this all the time, is a 1999 study. And you're probably like, Dustin, that study's 25 years old. This study, in my opinion, is the best nutrition study ever created. So in this study, they took two different groups. Oh, I like the sunglasses. They took two different groups of people. They put them on the same exact calorie diet. So one group, I'm just going to say 2,000 calories. I can't remember off the top of my head, but let's just say 2,000 calories each. One group did the traditional American diet, which is lower protein, pretty high carbs, moderate fats. Group 2 did a higher protein, lower carb, not keto. And if you're on GLP-1, you don't want to do keto. So this is actually a great study for you. And moderate fats. So the calories were the same. The biggest difference was proteins were increased in one and carbs were increased in the other. So that's it. But the calories were the same. And the point of the study is to actually prove that weight loss would be the same. And the reason why I like the study is they gave them the food. So the participants ate the food provided. So we know they were hitting their numbers daily. End of the study. Both lost weight. Yay! The group that ate high protein burned 76% more fat and 80% more weight loss. So if you would have lost 10 pounds calorie counting, you would have lost 18 pounds calorie counting with a higher protein diet. Yeah. That's how much difference there was, even though calories were identical. So that surprises people, but that's the role of protein and how it puts it adds a supercharger when it comes to your weight loss journey. Another study actually proved that diet to be incredibly effective with ladies with PCOS. And I can't remember, I quoted it on our live last week, and if any of my clients are on, I can remember off the top of their head. But in those same numbers were used with ladies with PCOS, and they found that ladies with PCOS burned, I think it was like 138% more fat and 100 and some percent more weight loss with a higher protein, lower carb diet compared to calorie counting. So we know that implementing specific dietary suggestions can actually put us in a position to be incredibly more effective on our weight loss journey. So.
That was really good. That was really good. And just understanding, because I literally just had somebody in a live yesterday that asked me my thoughts on the carnivore diet or keto. I have no experience, so I have nothing to say about keto. However, the carnivore diet, what do you, I mean, that's high in protein, but it's no fiber bit. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
All right, so part of this is 24 or 22 years experience in coaching, and part of this is clinical studies.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of carnivore and keto, and they're basically the same thing. I mean, the macros at the end of the day are almost identical. You know, little to no fiber, little to no carbohydrates, little to no foods that actually provide us vitamins, minerals, and nutrients we need. It was either Cleveland Clinic or Mayo Clinic said out of 30 diets, it was the worst food-based diet of any diet. The only two that finished worse than that was Optavia or Optavia, however you say that, in Slim Fast. So even doctors don't think it's very effective. The problem is with those who do carnivore and keto with GLP-1, you're wasting a large percentage of the med. Okay, so what is the three biggest benefits of GLP-1? Okay, number one is blood sugar and insulin regulation. Okay, so blood sugar and insulin regulation, that's originally why they were created, for type 2 diabetes management, right? So they help the body better utilize carbohydrates, glucose, and insulin. The second one is appetite suppression, and the third one is binge eating sensors. Now, keto and carnivore, your body no longer runs off glucose, aka carbs, during keto and carnivore. Your body's running off of ketones. Well, ketones don't benefit from GLP-1 meds because the benefit of GLP-1 is optimized with blood sugar and insulin. And so if we're not eating carbs, then we're wasting 30, 40, 50% of the benefits of the meds because we're not using the insulin and blood sugar regulation benefits of the GLP-1. In my opinion, you would lose the same exact amount of weight without GLP-1 if you're doing keto and carnivore, because you're not getting the benefit of the insulin and blood sugar regulation. There would be no additional benefit, because you're not getting the hormonal optimization, the GLP-1. You might still get a little bit of appetite suppression. You might get a little bit more less bingy, but typically appetite's not an issue with carnivore and keto. You're eating foods that are super high in fat, so you feel bloated all the time. You're really not that hungry. And so I'm not the biggest fan of keto and carnivore for GLP-1. I'm actually not a big fan of it anyway. When we talk about sustainability, we know highly restricted diets don't work. And really, when we look at 12-month studies, keto and carnivore don't cause any additional weight loss compared to other diets where you can eat pizza occasionally or eat some burger and fries occasionally. So why would I take out my favorite foods to lose not as much weight as I would with other diets? So with keto or carnivore, typically it's under 40 for women, 50 for men. However, if you're using GLP-1 meds, I don't like you to be under 60 whole carbs or net carbs. So basically exclude fiber, exclude sugar alcohols. So somewhere between around, I like more than 60 by far, because I think you're still going to have some energy deprivation, things like that. But I would say ideally, we actually, lower carb is really anything between 60 and 125 grams of carbs. And I know that shocks people. 125 grams of carbs, that's not lower carbs. That's only 500 total calories out of your entire day of food. Only 500 coming from carbs. So 125 is considered lower carb. But to me, I typically look at, 60 to 110 is kind of the sweet spot.
And Dustin, before we move forward, there were questions in the chat concerning the vibration plate and the benefits, and also intermittent fasting.
Yeah, so vibration plates aren't bad for core stability, but in my opinion, that's about the only benefit. If you haven't heard of the ANS 500 plan, this is our version of 75 hard or 75 soft or the 30-30-30 program. I think we can simplify it, and it doesn't include a vibration plate. There's nothing wrong with it. If you have it, use it. Absolutely. It's great for core stability. But, in my opinion, wall push-ups or knee push-ups or traditional push-ups, standing crunches, regular crunches, squats to a chair, wall sits, traditional squats, lunges, things like that are incredibly highly effective. and it doesn't cost anything, right? So that's kind of my opinion there. Now, intermittent fasting, I love intermittent fasting, but not for GLP-1. And the reason why is it's twofold. One, they are putting hypoglycemic warnings now on GLP-1 meds. And because fasting optimizes blood sugar, and you're going to go a long time between food, and you're taking something that optimizes blood sugar, you might get wiped. And so you might get lightheaded, you might have some hypoglycemic things. Now, the other reason why is we got to make sure we eat enough. And with intermittent fasting, it reduces appetites because you're not eating as much. And since you're not eating as much, your time frame to eat is so little, you now have to eat an entire day of food in a smaller window. So most people do intermittent fasting wrong. Let me go back with this real quick. Most people do intermittent fasting wrong. Your body still requires the same amount of calories, carbs, protein, fats, vitamins, minerals, and nutrients, whether you eat every second of the day or you only eat one meal a day. Your body still has the same need. So a lot of people think, well, if I do intermittent fasting, I eat in a smaller window, and because I eat in a smaller window, I don't have to eat as much food over the day, but that's not true. You actually still need the same calories, carbs, protein, fats, vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. And so if you're eating in a 4-hour window, you still have to eat the same amount of food as you would have without a 4-hour window, right? But also throwing in GLP-1 being so appetite suppressing, are you going to be able to eat 14, 16, 1,800 calories and more in 1 or 2 meals? And with GLP-1 slowing digestion, you're going to be incredibly full and bloated. And definitely when we're talking about the amount of protein we need to really maximize results, it's hard to eat. I mean, I can do it. Trust me, don't tempt me. But it's hard to eat that much protein in a short window. So I love intermittent fasting if you ever want to try coming off of it. And again, I'm not someone that pushes people off, so don't take it that way. It could be an effective way of doing it because it would help optimize blood sugar. So you're kind of replacing something that works really, really well with blood sugar to something else that also helps with blood sugar. But definitely not my favorite meal strategy with GLP-1.
My a doctor that I'm consulting with currently, we were talking about intermittent fasting. I am big on intermittent fasting. I mean, this is just my own personal truth. I do intermittent fasting probably Monday through Friday, in like 14-hour increments. But my intermittent fasting consists of water and protein shakes, and then I have my first actual meal at a certain time, and then my last meal at a certain time. But my doctor is telling me that at this point in my journey, he wants me to start to eat more times a day, physical food more times a day. So he's recommending that I eat minimum 5 times a day. And he referred me a book to read. And this book it talks about bodybuilders and how bodybuilders eat to train their body. They eat so much, but they're so fit. And I never ever thought about my food, my life, and a bodybuilder and how efficient their lives are. But it really changed my perspective when I think about how many times I eat a day, and this is on or off of GLP-1, and how I can benefit from eating more times a day. Do you have the same sentiments, believing that people should eat 5 to 6 times a day? What are your thoughts on that, Steve?
2 theories. Theory 1 is I want to make sure you get your food in no matter how you want to do it, right? Because that's the most important thing. I need you to eat enough calories. I need you to eat enough protein. I need you to not deprive yourself of what you actually need. And so if it takes, if you can eat, one huge meal and that gets you there, okay, that's fine. I don't think that's optimal. In my opinion, I like doing 3 meals and 2 snacks.
Okay.
Sometimes 3 meals and 3 snacks. And so for breakfast, it might be like a level 1 shake, some sort of meal replacement protein shake. For a snack between lunch and dinner, it might be, a serving of almonds or cashews or a protein bar or 2 hard-boiled eggs or yogurt or something. Lunch, maybe you do 4 ounces of grilled chicken and a cup of rice, which, by the way, cost 78 cents last time I checked. always get mad, guys, and this is just me being old, I guess, but everybody says that healthy food's expensive. Healthy food's cheap if you make it yourself. If you get the chicken in bulk and it's $2.99 a pound, and some of y'all can find it cheaper, even if it's $4 a pound, that's 4 4-ounce servings. Each serving is about 25 grams of protein. You pair it with a cup of rice. If you're buying rice in bulk, that's 18 cents. So you're talking about $1.18 if you're buying chicken at $4 a pound. If you're buying it at $3 a pound, it's even less than that. So just some info there. So like maybe that's your lunch. Maybe between lunch and dinner you have 2 pieces of string cheese, which is my favorite hack known to man. Low-fat string cheese has 8 grams of protein to it and roughly 60 calories. So you can get 16 grams of protein and 2 pieces of string cheese. Dinner, maybe you have steak, a baked potato, and broccoli, and then you have some sort of snack before bed. You have smaller meals that way, but you give yourself some continued nourishment through the course of the day. So to me, that's optimal. 3 meals, 2 snacks, or 3 meals, 3 small snacks. But if the other thing is one of the reasons why you should eat frequently is to help protect your appetite because of GLP-1 may suppress it too much. So we want to make sure that we provide the body with enough nourishment. And if we start skipping meals and don't have what we call a food timer or a food scheduler, next thing you know, our appetite goes down even more. Between working out and eating more protein and making sure you're not skipping meals, your appetite will come back in a natural way, the way it's supposed to. But if we don't allow our appetite to come back the way it's supposed to, then we're in trouble, because then we're just going to continue starving ourselves and not providing the nourishment that we need.
That was really good perspective. I think a lot of people who come in, whenever they are taking on the information that, hey, I have to eat more you need to eat more in general. However, being on a GLP-1, you're battling appetite suppression, and then the idea of understanding that you still have to get those meals in. But whenever you lay it out in the perspective, hey, you want to have those small meals, it makes it easier to digest just even thinking about it. So thank you. That was really good feedback for me.
I'm glad Dustin said that, because prior to starting a GLP-1, I purchased like this plan from this guy on Facebook. Well, he does what Dustin do. I didn't find Dustin back then. And so it was 16 weeks, but what Dustin said is how it laid out. I did that, and people were, how did you eat 5 times a day? I always said I did a protein shake from a local place here. It was like 250 calories. Then for a mid-morning snack, I would have a handful of almonds and 2 scoops of peanut butter. Don't judge me. My peanut butter's not going anywhere. My water, but I did what Dustin said, and people was like, how was it hard? It was hard, but I did it, but I never hit a stall because I was eating 5 times a day. Even when I didn't want to, how can I put it, in the brain suppression, right. I didn't want to, but my stomach was speaking in tongues. So I was like, let me go ahead. That's a hunger cue for me. And that's how I lost. It's not impossible, but you can do it. So Dustin, I thank you for saying, because you people was coming for me. So thank you.
That's real. Last week, I literally lost 5.6 pounds last week. For week 64, I lost 5.6 pounds. And the only thing different I've done over the last week was I've started to eat more. And I felt like I was eating too much. I mean, I think that's just I've been on this GLP for 64 weeks. So I'm very portioned. So whenever I started eating more, I got on a scale yesterday and I was 5.6 pounds down. So that part for me just showed me I have to continue to do that and just find a good balance as to what I am going to eat in between those 3 meals a day. So, yeah.
And the big question everybody is asking, so drinking your protein versus eating your protein. And I know oftentimes, like, I work an hour away, so sometimes I don't like Fear Life, no judgment, but I'll make my own protein shake. Can you please discuss that more as well? I know that's one of the questions, and I forgot another question, but if you could touch bases on that and fiber, because a lot of people skip fiber.
Yeah. So we'll start with protein. This is going to be a controversial opinion, but I'm 100% on board with protein shakes. So protein's that important for your weight loss journey, that important to help you maximize fat burning, that important to help you get that lean tone physique that you want. And in my opinion, whatever it takes for you to get to your protein goal, I'm fine. Now, do I think you should drink 17 shakes a day? Absolutely not. However, I can tell you there's been days I've had 6 shakes a day, because I'm on the road or, with me doing bodybuilding, I have to eat 250 grams of protein a day. So I'm eating a lot more than the average person by far. However, this is where it gets controversial. Whey protein is the highest quality protein known for human consumption. And I'm not saying like whey protein shakes itself. I'm talking about the composition of whey.
Okay.
And before they started studying whey proteins, what they call bioavailability, how our body actually uses it, they thought eggs had the highest quality of protein. And so when they came up with the bioavailability score, they set eggs at a true 100. So they gave them a 100 score. And then everything else is based off of how close it gets to eggs. So like beef, chicken, pork, seafood, all of that is in the 80s and low 90s. Anything above 80 is a complete protein. So all of your meats are complete protein. All your seafoods are complete protein. So it's chicken, pork, milk, whether it's casein or whey, or other milk proteins. Eggs are complete proteins, things like that. But when they studied whey protein, they found that whey had a bioavailability score of 103. And if you isolate whey, it has a bioavailability score of 150. So technically, the body likes the protein makeup of whey protein better than it does anything else. So just a random thing there. After you get through the animal-based proteins, that's where the quality of protein diminishes greatly. Collagen isn't a complete protein. Collagen is actually terrible for muscle building, cellular repair, things like that. A lot of people don't realize that. Collagen's really only good for hair, skin, and nails, and ligaments, and cartilage, things like that. But if you're not eating enough other proteins, you're actually wasting collagen. And I think that actually surprises people, because we need protein for hair, skin, nails, nerve endings, thyroid hormones. Let me repeat that. Thyroid hormones need protein. Thyroid hormones need protein. Iodine and the amino acid L-tyrosine from protein make thyroid hormones. Just FYI. A lot of people don't know that. Muscle, organ tissue repair, bone, and ligament, cartilage, nerve endings, neurotransmitters, enzymes, all need protein. So we have a need for protein for a variety of different things. However, when it comes to collagen is really only good at the hair, skin, and nail side of things. And if you're eating a lot of collagen, but you're not eating a whole lot of what we call complete proteins, then collagen's going to try very hard, ineffectively, to rebuild muscle tissue, to help you repair after a hard workout, things like that. So collagen's actually a lower quality protein, believe it or not, when it comes to human survival. But it's good for hair, skin, and nails. But that's why I always tell people, set yourself a high protein goal and then go over your protein goal by adding a collagen shake. So like say I tell you to eat 120 grams of protein, eat 120 grams of protein, and then have that 15-gram collagen protein shake to get you to 135. So your body actually has enough protein for that. But once you get below collagen, that's when you get into the plant-based proteins, and they are inferior to animal-based proteins by far. When we talk about like pea proteins, it has a bioavailability of about 60. And so we're talking about 60% as effective as whey. We get into rice, it's somewhere around 70% as effective as whey. Soy, 70-some% effective as whey. Quinoa, about 80% as effective as whey. Nut proteins, 40-50% the effectiveness of whey. So a lot of people automatically assume that, hey, a plant-based lifestyle is healthy, which it is, but the proteins based off of a plant-based lifestyle is not quality. And that's where things get confused. That's why unless you have an allergy to whey, or you have a religious exclusion, or you have a phobia to animal proteins, or whatever it might be, then obviously find yourself a plant-based protein you like. But if you can handle whey, you should have whey. That's my opinion. I do like bone broth. I normally cook with it, though. I normally don't drink it. I just saw that question. And the difference between whey and whey isolate is how whey isolates typically are voided of carbs and fats, so it isolates the molecule itself, where whey concentrate will have a little bit of fat and a little bit of carbs. You think the whey isolates would be better. However, whey isolates, in my opinion, are really only good around your workouts because they digest too rapidly. They digest fast. And if you're wanting something that's going to keep you fuller longer, you don't want something that digests fast. You want it to digest at the same speed as natural foods do. So if you're going to work out and you get sore after your workout, a whey isolate after your workout can be very effective for the recovery process. But when it comes to actual like meal replacements, I'd rather you do a whey concentrate.
Listen, you dropping all the gems today. Somebody asked about CAA, BCAA.
Yeah. So, number one, this is my humble opinion. Don't listen to Gary Brecka. So Gary Brecka is a biohacker, which is a made-up term, that has a huge Instagram and TikTok following. Everything he's ever made claims about have been easily disputed for years. Level 1 by First Form is my suggestion. I'm not trying to sell stuff, but I do work for them. But they make a true meal replacement protein. If you want, just message me. I'll send you a link. My inbox is open. So, BCAAs, EAAs. So Gary Brecka created a video not too long ago that says that his amino acid shake is the same as 30 grams of protein. It's the biggest lie ever told. It makes absolutely no sense at all. His shake has 5,000 milligrams of amino acids. Each gram of protein has 1,000 milligrams of amino acids. So a 30-gram protein shake would have 30,000 milligrams of amino acids. It just doesn't add up, right? So anyway, neither here nor there. Amino acids are what protein's made out of. Essential amino acid, branched chain amino acids are the three most important. Leucine, isoleucine, and valine. These are what's actually is used for muscle building, tissue repair, all those good things. Like the most important aspects of protein are your three most important amino acids, the branched chains. And then essential amino acids are amino acids that our body can't make naturally that we have to get from our food. And there's 9 of those. Okay, so EAAs include the BCAAs plus an additional 6 amino acids that make up essential amino acids. Compared to protein, it's not as effective. So you can drink amino acids during your workout. May help you work out a little bit harder. But when it comes to results, the amount of protein you eat over the course of a day is more efficient and effective for your results than to use amino acid drinks only. I'm not against them. I'll use them occasionally, definitely during strenuous workouts. but I don't think it's something that people need to rush out and have. It's amino acids.
Good. Oh, I thought you had. What is your recommendation for store available whey protein powder?
The one I suggest when we talk about whey protein powders, we got to remember, what are we looking for, right? For most people, we actually want a meal replacement. We're not wanting a quote unquote muscle builder. There's two different things. A meal replacement, which really only a few companies actually make. Most people just make a generic protein shake, right? They're not actually made to digest slower, to keep you fuller, and to actually mimic a meal. So like Premier and Fairlife, those are protein shakes. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them, but they're not actually made to be a meal, to replace a meal. So maybe a snack, but not necessarily a meal. So when I'm looking, when I'm educating others when it comes to finding a quality meal replacement protein, you want to make sure it has the highest quality proteins in it. You also want it to have a mixture of fast and slow digesting proteins. And so the one I suggest has whey isolates that digest rapidly, milk protein that digests moderately, and then whey concentrate that digests slowly. And so that's going to give you a sustainable protein source that your body, as it digests, it's fueling your body over time instead of your body absorbing it immediately and then making you hungry in 30 minutes. So my favorite is Level 1 by First Form. The other reason why I like Level 1 is it's low temperature processed, which is a fancy way of saying it scientifically takes out the bloat and upset belly. So you're not going to get the protein farts, all of that. And then plus, when you are on GLP-1 medicines, you already feel full and bloated. So the last thing you want to do is eat something or drink something that's going to make it worse. So I do suggest Level 1 there. It is in my profile. You can click the stand link, go down to First Form, or if you just want to message me, I can help you with recommendations, things like that. I'm not trying to sell you something on this live by any stretch of the imagination. So,
well, I wanted to say this because we got jumped into it. Can you please introduce yourself? Because we just got straight into it, and what exactly that you do.
Yeah.
Sorry, because we didn't even get into that.
We got excited. I mean, we just jumped right in. So, my name is Dustin Holston. I own Advanced Nutrition Solutions. We're a 2-time weight loss coaching practice of the year. Since 2019, we've worked with 4,600 clients worldwide, from Poland, Middle East, UK, Canada, the islands, US, all 50 states. I got 12 amazing coaches. We specialize in everything. GLP-1 related weight loss. We don't prescribe. We're not affiliated with any companies. That also means I can speak freely and I can say whatever I want and not have to worry about a company getting mad at me. I say that loosely. They still get mad at me. That's not the point. We specialize in PCOS and infertility. Matt's actually a client of mine. What up, bro? And actually, just a shameless plug, we're doing a 2-month PCOS infertility coaching plan. We've helped over 250 ladies with PCOS and helped over 70 get pregnant since 2019. So if it's something you do struggle with, we do work with men and women who struggle with infertility through diet, nutrient, hormonal optimization, non-drug related solutions. We work in reality TV. We work with people from The Bachelor, Big Brother, MTV The Challenge, The Big D on USA, some ex-NFL athletes. But the vast majority of our clients are just everyday people like, look, I want to tone up. I want to feel better about myself. I want to improve self-image and mental image. I am affiliated with First Form, but I own Advanced Nutrition Solutions. I'm one of First Form's master trainers. So there's 7 of us that's in charge of education for 10,000 coaches. So I teach advanced nutrition to their coaches. So that's my affiliation with First Form. But my business is Advanced Nutrition Solutions. Well, first, okay, I see what you're saying. I'm not an affiliate for any GLP-1 companies. I think that's where I misspoke. That's what I meant. I'm not an affiliate for any GLP-1s. But basically, our plans are custom diets, custom meal plans, custom workout plans, weekly check-ins, weekly progress reports. Some of our plans have free supplements. Some of our plans have a Ninja Creamy for our 60 gram of protein ice cream. You don't have to just work with me. You know, I got one of the top women's weight loss coaches in America, Courtney. She lost 150 pounds herself with PCOS. You know, she's really one of the top women's weight loss coaches. So if you don't feel comfortable working with me, you can work with Courtney. She's amazing. And a variety of other coaches I have. We have medical professionals, nutritionists, personal trainers, women's health specialists, pre and postnatal, everything known to man, basically.
Awesome. So let's talk supplements.
Mm-hmm.
All things supplements. So can you get a lot of questions on should I take this one or that one? I know that's a broad spectrum question, but can you speak on supplements, what they do, what's the best one to take? Like for me, well, it's a supplement, but I have to, I'm vitamin D deficient and in menopause. So that's very helpful so I won't develop osteoporosis. And then after you do that, then I would like to talk about exercising and body recomp.
Yeah. So number one, I have a guide in my stand link in my profile dedicated to glp1 supplementation. For the most part, I focus on 2 or 3 things. Number one, I do not consider protein or a meal replacement protein a supplement because it is a meal. So I think that I would suggest, you know, the one that we recommend is $2 a meal. I would suggest that in your grocery budget, not as a supplement, since it's actually replacing a meal for $2. So quality meal replacement protein. I'm obsessed with gut health. So I am a huge fan of optimizing gut health. You know, if you wanted to see something crazy, type in PCOS and gut health, autoimmune and gut health, menopause and gut health, cortisol and gut health, insulin resistance and gut health, belly fat and gut health, infertility and gut health, testosterone and gut health, and you'll be like, holy cow, what the heck is going on? Like, what do you mean? Like, this is crazy, you know? And so serotonin, mental health and gut health, I mean, it's just crazy. So one of the first things that I like to work on is improving gut health. Whether you're doing 5 to 7 fruits and veggies, 2 to 3 fermented foods provide probiotics. So if you don't want to take a probiotic, you can eat fermented foods like Greek yogurt, kombucha, sauerkraut, kimchi, stuff that I don't eat. You can do that too. Digestive enzyme-based foods like tropical fruits like papaya, mango, pineapple actually have digestive enzymes. So digestive enzymes allow us to chew up the food so we can better use it and then get rid of it. And so if you're someone who does have issues with constipation, I do suggest taking digestive enzymes because that'll actually help you break down the food and utilize it effectively. And it's cost effective. So one would be a high quality greens powder. So now here's the problem with greens powder. If you're going to go to Walmart or you're going to go to GNC, most of them are just powdered vegetables. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with powdered vegetables, but powdered vegetables aren't necessarily going to overall improve gut health. We want probiotics, we want digestive enzymes, we want hormonal regulation, we want those things in it. So just check your label. If you don't see, papaya enzymes are great. Papain, bromelain, amylase, those are all 3 really the good enzymes off the top of my head. So if you don't see probiotics in your greens powder, but you like your greens powder, then I would suggest definitely adding a probiotic. If you don't see digestive enzymes in your greens powder, I'd make sure you add digestive enzymes to your greens powder. In my opinion, the only 2 companies that make a high-quality greens powder is Athletic Greens and First Form. But Athletic Greens is like $100 a month. It's outrageous. Now, First Form is still, I think, $65 a month, which is still expensive. I'll be 100% honest with you. But when you do the price comparison, it's about $2 a day for you to get 5 to 7 fruits and veggies, 2 to 3 fermented foods, 1 to 2 tropical fruits each and every day. You're spending more than $2 a day anyway. So it's kind of pick and choose your battles. if you can do it holistically with real food, I would want you to do it with real food. And I think that's the main thing with supplementation. Supplement something you're missing. If you can get it through whole food, I'd much rather you get it for whole food. However, I'm a nutritionist, and I can tell you that I don't get enough nutrients in for me not to use supplementation for things. Amazing Grass, I think, only has 100 million. You want to be in the billions. Double check that. I may be wrong, but the problem is what we call pixie dusting in the supplement industry. And what pixie dusting is when you label something as having something so it looks like shiny and important. Like, hey, we have probiotics, but you need billions of probiotics to see any daily effect. But maybe there's a million. A million sounds like a huge number until you realize your body needs 5 billion a day to get any effect. So a million sounds like a lot until you realize that it's not as much. So Athletic Greens or AG1, right, or OptiGreens 50 from First Form. If you do OptiGreens 50 for First Form, hook your buddy up. My affiliate code's in my stand link. The third supplement I really like is L-carnitine. And so L-carnitine is the amino acid responsible for sending fat to be burned in the body. So L-carnitine makes fat burning more effective. We also know L-carnitine has some positivities on energy, has positivity on fertility. We saw a really cool study on men who swimmers didn't swim very well actually have drastic improvement in swimmer quality. So that's one of the first supplements I put men on who have potentially any issues with fertility. Ladies, I know this is probably 90% ladies on this thing. If you're struggling with infertility, feel free to reach out. I can give you some advice. I can put you in the right direction. My wife and I struggle with fertility. My wife has PCOS. My swimmers weren't swimming very well. Something we're very passionate about. And then also don't take 100% of the responsibility. Have your husband or man get checked, because that was one thing that my wife did was like, it's all my fault. And then all of a sudden I realized that it took two to tango. So don't take the responsibility of get checked out, get checked out. So I'm a big fan of L-carnitine. One of the things I like about First Form's L-carnitine is it matches it with fucoxanthin, which is a very cool antioxidant from brown seaweed, which sounds really weird. However, fucoxanthin blocks fat absorption in the body and is a powerful antioxidant, so it works pretty well combining the two. If you're going to do injections of L-carnitine, you can take far less than the oral route. With injections, you only need about 100 milligrams a day, if I remember correctly. But if you're going to ingest it like in a drink or a pill or powder, then you need a lot more because your body doesn't absorb all of it. So if you're like, hey, why does my practitioner sell it with only 100 milligram injections or jabs? Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. It's because your body absorbs it much better in jab form than it does in drinking form. However, if you get a high enough dose in a drinking form, it's the same thing in my opinion. So, and then the other one is just a high quality multivitamin. Multivitamins, so many people focus on just B vitamins or vitamin D or whatever it might be. We get so like, oh, I heard B vitamins help with weight loss, so I'm going to buy B vitamin. Well, that makes no sense. Your body needs A, B, C, D, E, K, chromium, selenium, zinc, magnesium, iodine. Like, it has exponential need for so many different vitamins and minerals. And if we're only focusing on vitamin B, it's like you need a complete engine swap, but you're just changing the spark plugs. It doesn't make sense if you think of it that way. And so I would rather you, instead of taking just a B vitamin or just a hair, skin, and nail vitamin, I would suggest taking a vitamin and mineral product that has all the vitamins and minerals you need at the right doses. So that way you're actually getting the benefit from it. So.
And it's really good because I'm bad about getting what my body needs, protein. And I'm glad you discussed on gut health, because being on these medications, that's one of the side effects we see a lot: constipation, constipation, constipation. And what do you suggest? Well, I have IBSC, so mine's not like general on it. Can you give suggestions on what maybe could help that? I know you touch bases, but like you have some people who say just go get magnesium, or what do you suggest from your professional opinion? What could help with that, along with, of course, drinking your water? Y'all should be drinking your water too. Can you please?
Yeah. So one, fiber's weird because fiber is actually considered a carbohydrate, but it provides no glucose to the body. So with other carbohydrates, once it's broken down during the digestive process, it becomes glucose, like pure blood sugar. And so, but fiber doesn't do that. So fiber is used during the digestive process to basically make things slide in the digestive tract. So to move it towards, being voided, right? It's weird to explain that without being graphic. It's like, I don't know how to explain this otherwise, but so to make it easier to void. But we also know fiber is great for, we know the belly fat study. Every 10 grams of soluble fiber reduces belly fat or waist circumference by 3.8%. And if you work out, it doubles. So we do know some really cool studies with fiber. We see it with positive influence with insulin resistance and diabetes and PCOS and things like that too. So fiber is a must. I would make sure you're getting at least 20 to 30 grams a day. Now here's the deal, guys. Here's the hack of all hacks: keto bread. I love keto bread. Even if you're not doing keto, which I'm not, I like to have some keto bread. I like to have, I like to do, did anybody ever do cinnamon toast when they were a kid? Where they, you put some butter on it, you put a little bit of cinnamon and sugar, and you oven baked it or whatever. So I still do that as a 41-year-old. And so I do it with keto bread, and then I use, there's a product on Amazon called Sans Sucre. I'm probably saying it wrong, but I know in French it means without sugar. And it's a Splenda cinnamon mix that to me tastes just like cinnamon sugar. Well, each slice of keto bread has 9 grams of fiber. And so just 2 slices of keto bread would get you almost 20 grams of fiber. So Ezekiel bread has a lot of fiber. There's other things out there. But like, if you've ever had like Metamucil, crap, it tastes terrible. You know what I mean? And so I'd rather have 2 pieces of cinnamon toast and get my fiber in that way than otherwise. And then digestive enzymes, more fruits and veggies. Water is incredibly important. I suggest 100 ounces of water. Can L-carnitine lower bad cholesterol and increase HDL? I haven't read studies on that, so I don't know. And guys, I'll never lie to you. If I know it, I'll tell you. If I don't know it, I won't tell you. So I'm interested, and I will research it because I'm a huge fan of L-carnitine, but I don't know that one. I know niacin is great for just that. I know that fish oil does that. I know that red yeast rice does that, but I'm not 100% sure on L-carnitine. Maybe. I don't know.
Now, this is where I love what about, because so we talk about stalls, whether you're on a GLP-1 or not, recommendations for breaking stalls and implementing working out on these medications.
So we have to define a stall. So what is a stall? Well, for most people, when they come to me, is I'm only losing like a half pound to a pound a week. Well, that's not a stall you're losing. A stall also isn't when you're losing inches, because we mentioned that study earlier that each inch off the waist is roughly 8.5 pounds of fat, according to a study made a couple years ago. So if you're losing inches, you're also not stalling. So, but then we got to go a step further. Are you actually stalling if you're not following a plan? Right? So if I'm not paying attention to what I'm eating, I'm not paying attention to my activity level, and the scale's not moving, am I actually stalling, or am I kind of self-sabotaging myself? So to me, a stall is when you are doing everything you should be doing. You're tracking your food, so you know you're not overeating. And I know this is tough, guys. And again, this is I'm speaking in general terms because I know a lot of people have a phobia of tracking, just because you've done it for years and haven't been successful. So I'm not this douchebag that's like trying to this is a one size fit all thing. It isn't. This is just me speaking in general terms. So if you're hitting the calories that you need each day, every single day, and then you eat enough protein, we know protein forces the body to burn more calories, burn more fat, lose more weight, and we're resistance training, at least 3 days a week, some sort of resistance, get those muscles moving. And we're also, I suggest 30 minutes of cardio daily, or as often as you possibly can. Walking counts as cardio. And then drinking enough water. So now, granted, I'm a nerd about this. And so if, I don't know if Bloom's still on or Matt's still on, two of my clients, if they say I'm at a stall and they're not being active or they're not, eating enough protein, then I don't consider them as stall. I just don't think they're doing everything they should be doing to prevent it from happening. And again, and I know. So I guess there's two definitions. A stall, one, is you're trying really hard to lose weight, but you're not. Or a true stall is you're following the plan and doing everything you should be doing correctly, and you're still not losing weight. So I think there's two definitions. In my opinion, the second definition is what I look for as a coach, is that I want to see you're trying, you're getting as close to your calorie goal, you're hitting your protein, you're drinking your water, your resistance training, things like that. But if we're losing inches, it's not a stall. And if we're losing weight, even if it's only like a half pound a week or whatever, man, you are so nice. I've had such a bad week, and you're hitting me in the feels. This is great.
No, because you're awesome. I've been bragging about you for the last 2 weeks, Dustin. So
I appreciate it. And
I'll follow him.
But what if we are in a true stall, or we're in in our head we're in a stall? Because either way, I mean, even if weight loss is only, a quarter pound a week, there may be things that we can do to push that forward to help you crush your results. Okay, so I think there's 3 things we can do to break through a stall. We're gonna say 4, but let's start with 3. The first one's to increase protein. Right, we mentioned the study earlier today: 76% more fat burning, 80% more weight loss with a higher protein diet. So if you're not eating enough protein, we know the body's not burning as many calories as it could. And because it's not burning as many calories as it could, we're not going to see the same results we want. So I would start off getting above 100 grams of protein, unless you do have kidney issues, which you should talk to your doctor to see what the high end is. Hey. The second one is resistance training. Well, this is going to turn into, I'm actually going to ask you all something, okay? Who has heard, or it may have happened to you, when I work out, or when somebody works out, even though they're trying to lose weight, they gain weight? Who's heard that before? I go to the gym, I gain weight. I go to the gym, I gain weight. I'm trying to lose weight, but I'm going to the gym, I'm gaining weight. Who's heard that before?
Yes.
Yeah, so there actually is a study that proves that, and I never believed it. I'll be honest with you. I was like, but actually what they showed in the study is that if you don't eat enough protein and you work out, you gain weight. And it's actually from protein deficiency. Because when we work out, we're damaging the muscle. So if I'm doing bicep curls, okay, boom, boom. So Diana, that's actually not what was happening. And so in this case if I'm doing bicep curls, I'm damaging the muscle. And if I damage the muscle, it takes protein to fix it. But as we mentioned earlier, protein's needed for hair, skin, nails, thyroid hormone, bone, ligament, cellular repair, organ tissue repair, all of those things. And so if you're not eating enough protein, your body has to decide what to do. Am I repairing the muscle, or if I'm going to grow some hair today? Like, like literally, it's like you're having a budget. Your protein is cash, and you have so many bills, and you got to figure out what you can put off for another week, right? And so in that study, we actually saw people who ate not enough protein actually gained weight. However, in the same study, if you ate enough protein, you burned more fat and lost more weight. So it actually showed the more protein you ate, the more results you had. And believe it or not, this was in women. This was a study with women, so even cooler. So the second one's resistance training, but again, resistance training, you got to do one before you can do two, right? You got to hit your protein, eat enough protein. I say over 100. I tell my clients if they can't eat 80 grams of protein a day, I actually don't want them to work out. I think it can actually be detrimental to them. Now, walking's fine, cardio's fine, things like that, but I don't want you to really push yourself very much until you give yourself enough protein. Yeah, we can talk about muscle wasting and hair loss here in a second. So resistance training, but guys, I say you all, I'm talking about the community itself, don't realize what exercise is, right? Like we think it has to be the gym. We think it has to be going into the bodybuilding bro section and putting 200 pounds on the bench press. Like, yeah, that's cool exercises, right? That's awesome, but that's not exactly what exercise is. When we say resistance training, we're just talking about applying resistance to the muscle. So we're just trying to force the muscle to work. This means push-ups. So if you want to do wall push-ups, which is one of my favorite exercises for low fitness folks, that counts as resistance training. Crunches, squats, wall sits, get 2 5-pound dumbbells. You can do some bicep curls. You can do some shoulder press. You can do some lateral raises. You can lay on the floor and do chest press with them. You can hold them here and do squats. Like the amount of workouts you can do with 2, 5, or 8-pound dumbbells is infinite. And so as long as you eat enough protein, the resistance training works specifically, and it will help you break through the plateau. The third one is to make sure you get those vitamins, minerals, and nutrients you need. I alluded to this earlier when we were talking about thyroid hormone, that the body needs protein and protein and iodine. And so if you're short on iodine, you may be short on T3 and T4. T3 and T4 are powerful fat-burning hormones. So if you're short on that, you may not be pushing yourself as hard as you could be doing. We know vitamin D is incredibly effective for a variety of different hormones. We know testosterone in men and women actually causes additional fat burning and better cognitive function, better energy, better heart health. Women get scared of testosterone. You want adequate testosterone. You don't want to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? You want to find that right balance. And so I always say protein, exercise, vitamins, minerals, and nutrients are my plateau busters. Now, the fourth one is if you are able to track your calories and it's not a phobia for you, then that's the most important, because we do need to make sure that we're not overeating. Because we are overeating, you're not going to lose weight. The body has to do something with those calories. So vitamin D, this is a generalized term. Your body needs 250 milligrams, I believe. I have to have a supplement in front of me that has vitamin D in it. I think you only need 250 a day at maintenance. But the problem is most people's deficient in vitamin D. So typically they measure it in IUs, and they suggest somewhere between like 2,000 and 10,000 a day. I would talk to your doctor about that instead of relying on me, because there is some. Vitamin D is actually a hormone, which is kind of confusing because it's also a vitamin, and there's kind of a gray area for suggesting vitamin D if it has to be a doctor that does it or not, so it gets a little confusing. But I would just make sure, if you are low on blood work and your vitamin D, then I would be taking a vitamin D supplement, even if it's 2,000 IUs, which stands for international units, or 5,000 or 10,000. 10,000 is only going to be used if you're super deficient. And normally it's just like a burst therapy. They'll do it for a week or so and then bring you back down. I also think 10 minutes in the sun is the same thing, if I remember correctly. Progressive overload is, so our muscles grow three different ways. Okay, this is what hypertrophy is, which is funny because I used to call it hypertrophy because that's how it's spelled, and I literally said that for years until finally someone said, "What did you say?" I was like, "Hypertrophy," and they were like, "Hypertrophy, hypertrophy." I was like, "God, I'm an idiot." So I don't get everything right. So, but hypertrophy is how the body grows muscle from a working out standpoint, right? So one of it is tension, one of it's stress, and one of it's damage. So when we talk about damage, we're talking about the cumulative effects of the workout. So like when you're at the end of your workout and you're tired and you're beat and you can't do any more bicep curls, that's going to be the damage effect. Stress and tension are going to be the pump. So like getting all that blood flow to the muscles where your muscles feel heavy because all the blood's going to them. But also tension is going to be the stretching of the muscle. So like that tension of lowering it and raising it. This is why it's very important to not do fast reps. So you don't want to go like this because you're really not putting the body under much tension. So you're not really stretching the muscle. So you got to meet those three requirements to maximize muscle growth. However, to further maximize it, we got to do what we call progressive overload. And what progressive overload is that we either one of three things. One, we go up in weight periodically. Two, we go up in reps or sets periodically. Or three, we reduce time between sets periodically. And so the goal with progressive overload is to force the body to do more every week or two to continue pushing the body to grow more or burn more fat or get stronger, things like that. So so we talk about progressive overload. We're just pushing our body because that's how our body will grow muscle naturally, more effectively. And we're not talking about making women Arnold Schwarzenegger. We're not talking about like that type of muscle growth. We're just talking about like sexy toned muscle. The question on protein depends on a variety of factors. I don't like the goal weight calculation because let's say it this way. Say you want to be a thick 225. Nothing wrong with that. Be a thick 225. However, if I do like, hey, well then eat 1 gram of protein per goal body weight, you don't need 225 grams of protein if you're wanting to be a thick 225, right? Your body doesn't need that much protein. It's a heck of a lot of protein, right? In reality, you may only need 130, 140 grams of protein to maintain a thick 225. And so what I base it on is lean body mass. And this is an incredibly difficult number to calculate yourself. So when I say lean body mass, if you were shredded, you didn't have any fat on you at all, what would you weigh? And for most women, 5'1", 5'2", 5'3", 5'4", 5'5", 5'6", or so, for you to be shredded, I mean like abs and all of that, you're probably going to be 130, 140, 150 pounds. So I would base protein goal on that number, which becomes a little bit more difficult to calculate. So I don't have an easy answer, unfortunately.
Yeah. Like I'm learning so much new stuff today because the way that you broke down a stall is really important because people think that, and I just see in the chat, so like people think, well, if I'm eating this amount of protein, they should be eating it too. And that goes back to your journey is your journey and it's different from everyone else's. Someone said creatine versus protein.
Yeah, so creatine is a combination of 3 amino acids that are inside the muscle. Its goal is to keep the muscle hydrated. If we increase creatine levels, we see additional muscle growth. We actually see heart benefits, brain benefits, mental health benefits, benefits from inflammation. We see a lot of benefits. But it's also great on your glp1 journey to help you protect muscle. The thing about creatine is most people think you only take it on days you work out. But unfortunately, you really have to take it every single day. because the body has a continued need for it. So you actually have to take it every single day for it to work, and you need 5 grams a day, so 5,000 milligrams a day. If you can't take it regularly, there's really no benefit of taking it. And that sucks, but same thing is true with multivitamins, right? You can't provide your body with vitamins today and not vitamins tomorrow. So our body continuously uses vitamins daily.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be like, I can't eat 7 bananas today and think I don't need any more potassium the rest of the week. It doesn't work that way, right? And so if it's creatine or multivitamins or whatever it is, gut health, whatever, digestive enzymes, probiotics, things like that, we got to make sure we take them every day, or we're really not going to see the benefits of what we want. But protein, on the other hand, is what the muscle is actually made out of. And so they're really not related, although they both are related to muscle in its own way. Protein is actually what muscle is made out of, where creatine keeps the muscle healthy. Say it that way.
Wow. Listen, I'm over here speechless. Like, yeah. Y'all have any questions? Because y'all been quiet. Tap the screen. Follow Dustin. If you are not already, in the words of Tiffany, if you are not already following him, you should be following him. I know he goes live. He answers questions. Like, he is awesome. Very awesome. Alcohol. So yes, alcohol. Should you drink alcohol on a GLP-1? I didn't answer it. I don't drink it consistently, but I do drink it.
Yeah, so I've been sober for 5 years now, and I'm quite proud of that. However, I still go to bars, I still go to concerts, I still go out with friends, so I don't have any issues with it, so I'm not anti-alcohol. I don't believe in restricting anything, and I mean it. I'm not a restrictive person. I think that once you start restricting things, you get yourself into some bad habits, right? So here's the deal. Alcohol has no health benefits. They used to say, oh, yeah, a glass of wine a day is great for your heart. It's not true anymore, right? And thank you for the congratulations. This means a lot. However, at the same time, like, if you want to drink once a week or once every 2 weeks or whatever it is, and it's one of those things that, congrats on your sobriety, that's awesome. If it's something that, you're going to go to a college football game and you're going to have a couple drinks, do it. It's fine. But at the same time, just realize that alcohol is considered a poison. So our body, when we drink alcohol, it prioritizes removing alcohol, the poison, from our body. So weight loss and hormonal optimization and your metabolism, all of that becomes, things of the past. It's not going to focus on any of that. Its goal is to take alcohol and convert it to different chemicals until it eventually is removed from the body. So we just got to realize that it's not effective for your weight loss journey. However, I'm not someone who believes that, I want you to live a healthy, sustainable lifestyle, right? And so, and you can ask my clients, I teach you how to eat pizza on a Friday night with your kids. And I mean real pizza, not cauliflower crust pizza. I teach you how to have real red sauce pasta with your family without zucchini noodles, with regular ass Barilla noodles or whatever. So, I don't believe in restriction. Now, if you're someone who has an issue with it, where you're drinking every single night, things like that, that's where we have to kind of decipher if that's the right approach for you, right? But if it's one of those things that once a week you have 2 or 3 drinks, I don't see it being dangerous by any stretch of the imagination. Just don't drink and drive, obviously. So.
Yes. So another question, I haven't had alcohol in a year. Congratulations. I love my Barilla protein noodles. Cool. I started eating.
I love. They're my favorite noodles. Yeah.
He teaches you what to eat in portions. That brings me to this. So you have a lot of people, due to coverage and cannot afford compound, coming off of these medications. So their biggest question, of course, what can I do to maintain to not gain the weight back?
Yeah, so this is tough, man. So if you actually read the FDA trial data, the manufacturer suggests staying on it for life. And their argument is in the trials, I can't remember if it was phase 2 or phase 3, they actually showed what happened if you stop taking it. And so they gave them a placebo, they gave them the meds, and then for a small group of people, they started giving them a placebo to see what would happen. And what they found was a 61 to 67% weight regain over the next year was average. Average. So literally, if you lost 100 pounds, you should anticipate gaining back 60 to 70 of it. And that's on average. Some people, we've seen it, hey, I gained back more than what I lost, right? I lost 100, I gained back 125. However, I have clients that come off that continue to lose weight, right? So if you're going to come off of GLP-1, and I'll answer Jocelyn here in a second. If you're going to come off of GLP-1, I do suggest you hiring a coach that understands the hormonal benefits of GLP-1 and what GLP-1 actually does for the body, because you're going to have to go on a very strict diet and exercise program. You're going to have to really be strict because you don't have room for error. We have to figure out what your body can handle without GLP-1. And so there's going to be some obsessing, because I got to have you hit calories, carbs, protein, and fats daily. I have to really have you be very strict because, again, the studies tell me you're going to gain back 60 to 70% of everything that you lost. And so it gets to a point where we have to be very obsessive if you're going to come off. Now, I am a big fan of like glucose disposal agent. Berberine. Glucose disposal agent is a product that I recommend who has berberine. So berberine's really cool. It helps optimize insulin and blood sugar use so it can be effective post-therapy. Buspar and naltrexone, which is the ingredients in Concrave, which is an oral weight loss pill. It can be beneficial. It's funny, if you buy them together, they're expensive, but if your doctor writes you a generic for each one separate, it's like $8. So It's funny how that works. The patent combines the two, but if you just take two individual ones, so we do suggest that for some. There was something that we were suggesting, and I can't remember off the top of my head. There's a couple anti-binge eating meds. Things like Topamax and things like that might benefit you if you do come off. But more of the story is I would taper down and then have a game plan in place, whether you're working with a coach or you're doing it yourself, that you can be nearly exact until you test your body. Because, Vyvanse, thank you. Until we can really see how the body's going to react to this. As for certifications, I'm a nutritionist. I have an NPI with malpractice, weight loss specialist. I went to Cornell for wellness counseling. Personal trainer, women's health specialist. I don't know, a million different certifications. I own Advanced Nutrition Solutions. We're a medical practice. We can take FSA, HSA. We have a doctor, registered dietitians, nutritionists, personal trainers, women's health specialists, pre and postnatal, all kinds of stuff. 2-time weight loss coaching practice of the year. But I'm glad you asked, because there's a lot of quacks out there who take advantage of people and stuff like that. So,
What does binging weekends and way eating during the week does?
I think she's referring to if I binge eat over the weekends and I deprive myself a ton during the week, does that offset? And I don't like that approach, because I want to create a sustainable lifestyle for you, where that you're able to not really even think you're dieting or depriving yourself. You're eating enough throughout the week that you have the flexibility to be successful. Now, I do have what I call the anti-bloat diet. So when we binge eat, most of the weight we gain is from inflammation and water weight and carbohydrate based inflammation. And so the body stores a lot of water weight when we eat a ton of carbs. So it will show a huge increase. It's like when you eat Thanksgiving dinner and you go crazy. So each year I try to eat a ton of food on Thanksgiving to show that, one, I'm a real human, and I'll show that I gained 12 or 13 pounds overnight. And then I show you how over the next week I can actually get the weight off, right? And so, because it's not actually fat, it's just additional water weight from inflammation, sodium, carbohydrate retention, things like that. So, we work with tons of autoimmunes, hundreds of autoimmunes. I would rather just create a sustainable lifestyle so we don't have to worry about that. However, if you do go off the rails, what I do suggest is the next day is to do an hour of cardio, really do a good workout. If you normally do a 15-minute workout, do a 30-minute workout. You may double up if you're taking greens. You may take a double serving to kind of help optimize gut health and bring some gut inflammation down. Increase water. Things like that will help flush out the bad and help you lose that weight faster. But I don't suggest actually like manipulating the diet itself because I think it just creates bad habits.
And I'm glad you said that, because Thanksgiving is coming up and you will see so many people afraid of wanting to enjoy the moment with their family, but they're so hyper fixated on what they're eating. And I'm not gonna lie, I get down on Thanksgiving because my grandmother, she comes out of retirement to cook and she's 91. So I'm going to eat. And I'm glad you said that, because people literally, that's all I'll see. I'm just so afraid to eat. I'm so glad that you're speaking on that, and it's letting people know you're human. I broke my record today, 50 minutes, 18 miles. Awesome.
Ooh, there you go. There you go. And if you don't know, Bloom's had it tough the last few weeks. So that's awesome. So, one of the things that I was going to say is like, let's look at it from a biology standpoint. For us to gain a pound of fat, we'd have to eat, or for us to gain a pound of anything, muscle, fat, whatever, we would have to overeat by 3,500 calories more than our metabolic rate. So basically, to gain a pound of fat, which part of that would actually be muscle too, you're going to have to hit about 6,000 calories in one day for 1 pound. For you to gain 2 pounds, you're going to need roughly 10,000 calories. And so even if you go off the rail on Thanksgiving, just off the freaking rail, I can guarantee you're not eating more than 7,000 calories. Like, you have to really try to eat 7,000 calories, right? And so even if that was the case, you may gain 10 pounds overnight. Keep in mind, until you poop, all the food in your belly it weighs something, right? So it's not fat, it just weighs something. And then you're going to have inflammation, you're going to have water weight, you're going to have all these things, but it's not fat. So you may gain 10 or 12 pounds overnight, but only 1 pound's fat, and the rest of it's just water weight, bloat, and poop. So it's like, we got to remember that one day doesn't ruin our diet. Now, what does is what I call the Monday theory. What the Monday theory is you're going to start your diet on Monday. You do good Monday, you do good Tuesday, then you don't do good on Wednesday, and you convince yourself, well, I'll just try again on Monday. Why? Well, I'll wait till Monday, right? Say I binge ate for breakfast, why don't I just eat healthy the rest of the day? Like, why am I even sacrificing Wednesday? What if I just do good the rest of the day? But what we have is the Monday, right? We always want to start on Monday, or the first of the month, or the first of the year. If I have a bad breakfast, why don't I just have a good lunch? Like, why am I sacrificing my day based off of, a short arbitrary hour of my day where I screwed up? So, and that's what gets people in trouble. It's like, oh, I gained 10 pounds overnight on Thanksgiving, I'm screwed. I'm just going to wait till New Year's. And it's like, what? Like, no, just eat healthy tomorrow. Like, let's just get back onto it. It's no big deal,
Do you have suggested is it stack or snack for someone in maintenance?
I'm assuming we're talking supplements.
Okay.
If we're talking supplements, still a high quality protein shakes, greens powder, Vitamins and minerals and L-carnitine is always going to be my answer. I just think you get the best bang for the buck with those. If you want to message me, I'll give you some suggestions. I do mean it. I answer everybody's messages. My inbox is open. I want to help people. So definitely do that. And then also, before I forget, I have 14,000 in my weight loss community on Facebook. So if you go to my profile, click the stand link, you can actually join my Facebook group there. You can also schedule free coaching consults. I don't have a credit card reader in my office. So we'll talk about your goals. If you'll either meet with me or my top coach, Courtney, who's one of the top women's weight loss coaches in America. We'll talk about your goals. We'll talk about how we can help. And if we're the right choice for you, I'll send you a link and you can check out there. I don't message you every 15 minutes begging for business. That's not who I am. So if I can help you, give me the opportunity to help you, but we give you free consults no matter what. So that's just one thing that will never change. I've never been that type of person that wants to manipulate people. It's an investment. Our rates are very competitive for how comprehensive our coaching is. Our coaching's custom diets, custom meal plans, custom workout plans. When we say meal plans, we mean your favorite foods. If you like nachos, we have a great 10-minute nacho recipe. I have an amazing open-faced roast beef crock pot recipe. Real red sauce pasta recipe, burger and fries. Like, we actually put real food on it. People expect, like, where's the kale or where's the, and I'm like, unless you want kale on it, I definitely don't want to put kale in your meal plan. Custom workout plans at home, at gym, both beginner, intermediate, advanced. We created for you based off of what equipment you have. If you have injuries, can't do certain equipment or certain exercises. Weekly check-ins. We check in with you each and every week through text message. Weekly progress reports. We literally check your progress weekly to make sure you're getting the results you want. You can have all my kale, nurse. You can have all of it. You can, I will donate my kale to you. Now, I love Brussels sprouts, so if you don't like those, I'll take the Brussels sprouts. And they don't even have to be deep fried, although I do love me some fried Brussels sprouts, but I like regular too. Just a lot of butter. Let me some butter on some. It can be 0 calorie spray butter, but let me some butter on my Brussels. Weekly check-ins, weekly progress reports. So we actually check your progress weekly to see if we need to make any changes. And then some of our plans come with free supplements and a Ninja Creamy for our 60 gram of protein ice cream. So just my shameless plug. So you can schedule that in my coaching.
Not a shameless plug. I want people, you guys, like, I was low-key following Dustin like forever. And it's strange how we like met because we were getting hated on for speaking the truth. So we linked up and I love his energy. Like, all his videos are very informative. Lipo C and Lipo B, Dustin. I take that and everybody's been asking about that. Lipo B and Lipo C. I know I've been taking it. So I'll give you a background. I know you know what it is, but for me, I started taking it in the military. So back then the weight loss clinic was offering phentermine. So the doctor had me on, like, this is the reason why I don't count calories. Like, no more eating than 1,200 calories a day. Mm-hmm. And so I had to lose like 70 pounds in 3 months because I was going before the promotion board. So I started Lipo B and C, and it did help me with the inches. So I do take those, but I guess people are asking you, what are your thoughts on it? And so...
Yeah, I mean, I think they're tools that you can add to your journey to help you facilitate weight loss. I don't think that, I mean, obviously GLP-1 is going to do the majority of the work for you on your weight loss journey. I think Lipo C and Lipo B can definitely contribute, but how much of it is coming from Lipo B and Lipo C. So, so I don't know that exactly. Like, if you're going to lose, if the average is 15% weight loss over 16 months on semaglutide, and you add Lipo B, Lipo C, what's the additional weight loss? I think we will see additional weight loss. Is it 3%? Is it 10%? Is it 1.5%? I don't know. I don't think we really have good evidence that shows like hey, in this study we combined
Yeah.
lipo-B, lipo-C, and semaglutide, and this is what the results were. However, great for energy, great for lipids, great for a variety of different things. So I think you're definitely going to see an increase in overall health. But I don't know if we know any studies that say, hey, this contributes to 3% overall weight loss. Like, haven't read that. Somebody asked if am I in Charleston? Is that what somebody said?
No, someone asked. I don't know. Did y'all mean Dustin or me? I'm from there, but I live in Spartanburg, but I come home a lot. So
Well, it's funny because Charleston, West Virginia is 15 minutes down the road from me. So that's why I was laughing when she said Charleston. And you're from Charleston originally, and I grew up in the Charleston area. So Charleston, West Virginia, so a little bit different.
Dustin, can you talk about frag? Cam is just hitting us today. Frag, I don't know what that is, and AOD over lipo-B and C. I'm gonna let you handle it. 'Cause I don't even know
Yeah,
what
so this is going to have to be my last topic. So,
Okay.
so we have GLP-1 is our peptides, right? However, we also have growth hormone peptides. And so what growth hormone peptides are is peptides that influence growth hormone production in the body. They either increase growth hormone production in the body, or they have certain traits as growth hormones. For instance, okay, so growth hormone peptides like FRAG 176-191 or AOD 9604 or CJC 1295, or there's a BPC 157. All of these are peptides that have specific benefits associated with some of the benefits of growth hormone. So what does growth hormone do? It keeps us young. It helps us repair ourselves better. It helps us burn more fat. It helps us lose more weight. It helps us increase muscle mass. It helps us with a variety of different repair and recover cartilage and ligaments and things like that better. And so what we've learned is you can take certain aspects of growth hormone and target specific things. Like FRAG 176-191 and AOD 9604 are basically the same thing, but they are really, really good at protecting muscle and actually increasing fat burning. And so where lipo-C and lipo-B can help with the weight loss side, FRAG 176 and AOD 9604 can really focus on muscle and fat burning. Now, when you start getting into the peptides, peptide therapies are daily, and peptide therapies can be expensive. They can definitely start creeping up. I'm on peptide therapies for anti-aging benefits, and it can be quite expensive to say the least. But FRAG 176 and AOD 9604 are my favorite peptides for GLP-1 because it's going to help you build and retain muscle and help you prioritize fat burning. I really like BPC 157. BPC 157 is what we call the Wolverine hormone. So if you've ever watched X-Men, you know Wolverine repairs himself. So if he gets shot, he's immediately healed. So that's kind of why they call it the Wolverine. So BPC 157 is really good at healing. And we do know it also protects bone. And so because of bone loss with GLP-1, it can actually be beneficial for protecting bone, and you're still getting some benefits from like weight loss and muscle retention. My other favorite one, I do like ipamorelin, semamorelin. I do like CJC 1295, but I really like IGF-1. So IGF-1 really focuses on muscle building and fat burning, which can be incredibly effective towards the end of your GLP-1 journey. This can help you fill in some of your loose skin gaps, things like that. And so it's going to help you more get that polished look that you want. So IGF-1 can be very beneficial there. Sermamorelin and ipamorelin and all of those convince the pituitary gland to create more growth hormone, which can be highly effective too. But it really just depends on what you're looking for. The biggest thing is these are daily injections, and you're using an insulin syringe. You need to be fasted, and you're literally injecting about that much a day. It is super, super low amounts, 35 units. So definitely small. So it's something that you can talk to your functional medicine. All of those you would go through a doctor who can get access to it. IGF-1, all of those can go through a doctor, and compound pharmacies can make it.
I'll hook y'all
Uh,
up with that.
don't go to Google and type it in and order it from China. You don't know what you're getting. I get irritated because people get on my lives all the time. It's like, I just ordered from China. Well, last time they did a study, 42% of it was either fake or misdosed. Some of it was overdosed and some of it was underdosed. And so, you don't realize that if you're overdosing these products, some majorly bad things can happen. So that's when you gotta really worry yourself. If you overdose on growth hormone, it can actually cause cancer tumors to grow faster, all kinds of bad things. So you definitely don't want to take something that's dosed incorrectly.
Yes, ma'am, it does.
Yeah, I know Empower and Hallandale used to do it, which are two of the largest compounding pharmacies. I don't know if they still do. I think it's just depending on which one has it now.
I'm getting mine from Empower, but
Yeah.
through a prescription, through
Yeah.
a nurse practitioner. So yes.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, Dustin has to go, but I need y'all. First of all, we at 105K. Thank you. I need y'all to go follow him. Follow him now if you have not followed him, and tap the screen and I'm just, Dustin, I'm so grateful and thankful because you've hit every nail on the head this morning. I love and appreciate you. I'm a Dustin fan. Done. Yes, y'all follow him. Y'all are welcome. Welcome.
Oh yeah, it's my honor to be here today, and I created a TikTok 3.5 years ago because I wanted to create a database or a library of videos that I could send my clients, so that way I didn't have to repeat myself 100 times. So I would make a video on PCOS, and then if I had a client asked a question about PCOS, I'd send them the TikTok. And then I soon learned that there was so much bad and misinformation on TikTok about health and wellness and a variety of health conditions that I needed to really be a voice of reason on TikTok. And guys, it's wild. I mean, I had we've privately talked about this before, but I had an opinion that's true. That counteracted the opinion of a lot of affiliate marketers. And a company actually contacted my largest client, which is $1 million contract, to try to get me fired. Made up a story that I was working for Eli Lilly and that I was trying to damage this, and this. And luckily, I have such a close relationship with this company that they called me and said, "What the hell? Like, what is going on?" And they said, this specific glp1 company called us to try to get you fired. And so that would have been $1 million. It's a 10-year, $1 million contract. That provides for my family and my 12 coaches and 16 kids and everything else. And, and that's when I realized that, it's crazy. Like, people do some damaging and terrible things just because they don't agree with it or they feel like money's, coming out of their pocket. Now, the good news is that stopped because I reached out to the owner who I knew and threatened some legal action and some information that my coaches and I have 16 kids. Sorry, I only have one. So, Lord, I could barely handle one. I say that jokingly, but sorry. I always say we have 12 families we support and 16 kids. That's what I meant to say. So,
well, I appreciate you. Like I said, keep telling the truth, because I'm gonna keep telling the truth with you. Love and appreciate you. I'm going to chop this live up and put bits and pieces and tag you in it so people can follow you. I really thank you once again, because there are a lot of creators that come on here and they share their journey or say wrong advice, and they don't have the credentials that you have. Please come in again in the future. We'll work on something. I'll activate Dustin to come back again. But thank you so much, Dustin. Thank you guys for tuning in. I got to get something to eat because my little thing is going off.
I'm starting to get hangry myself. So
Yes. So I love you, Dustin. You guys have a happy Sunday, and we'll talk later. Bye bye.
bye, guys.